So on Juneteenth 2023, I walked away from my fucking dream partnership, low key 6-figure job, bitch. Here's the tea with me as I get ready for my interview, because if we go move, bitch, we go only go up. If we gonna have to make a boss move and stand on fucking business, I'm standing on business. Then let me tell you, this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take advantage to sit right there and tell you how I became the boss. Bitch, that's it. That's all I got for you. All right, I'm trying to get the story together because I can't. All right. So I worked in the legal technology industry. So really quickly, I just like to tell people that's where technology and law fucked and had a very lucrative baby, bitch. Like we had some of the biggest clients in the world, and just simply to tell you what we did at my company, because we was the biggest tech company that did what we did in the world. So imagine that y'all remember when like the Samsung phones was blowing up and shit in people pockets. So what we did is when Samsung, people companies like Samsung, they would have lawsuits, they would come to our company to help them manage their lawsuit, whether it was for legal advice, legal technology, whether it was for consulting on how to handle a lawsuit, or whether it was actually to handle, manage, and or store their legal documentation, for lack of better terms. So what I did, so I'm gonna tell y'all my quick little story. So I graduated from law school and I ain't know nothing about it. I was first generation me. So when I was in law school, I didn't I didn't understand. I didn't know nothing about the bar XYZ. So I didn't pass the bar the first time. I have not passed the bar yet. That's another story for another fucking day. So in the legal field or in the legal community, we got something called doc review. So I actually got introduced to e-discovery doing doc review, and that was being you could be an unlicensed or a licensed attorney doing doc review. And so at this point, I didn't work for the corporation. I was contracted out by the corporation to review legal documents. So I was on the review side. So if a lawsuit happened, and we had to like go through a company's evidence for the lawsuit, that's what I did. I determined whether it was relevant or not relevant, privileged or not privileged, X, Y, Z. So that wasn't consistent enough for making money enough for me, because I moved to North Carolina and I needed more money. I needed to be able to sustain my life. So when like anybody, bitch, when you when you're looking for a job, I had went on Indeed and just applied for some jobs, and one of the jobs was a administrator for the company that I was doing doc review for. I don't even remember applying for this job. Long story short, I became the admin, the secretary for this company called Discover Ready. So Discover Ready, I get the job. Discover Ready gets acquired by this conglomerate, um, Consilia. So this everybody, and I don't know if you've ever been a part of an acquisition, but a lot of people, when your company gets acquired, is afraid because they feel like when we get acquired, we gonna get fired. But whatever. So the CEO came to the company just to make his rounds, as he had bought the company. Shout out to fucking Andy. I fuck with Andy. That was the best CEO I ever had in my whole fucking life. So Andy was like, yo, look, if you want to work somewhere else in this company, where you are isn't fitting for you, then we have 1,000 other jobs, so you can work anywhere you want to if it fit for you. So I'm like, bet. So of course, the young hustler in me is trying to see what else I could do with inside this company. I had met some people as I started working there that kind of helped me out along the way. Shout out to Brenda, because I fucking love her. Brenda and Timmer, they were the best bosses I ever had in my life too. They encouraged me to grow outside of where I was. They weren't afraid of my growth. So what I learned is sometimes people don't want you to outshine them. So I gotta speed this story up because I'm already on 4 minutes and I'm still not getting ready. I'm still not done getting ready, bitch. This might be a couple parts. So, all right. From that point on, I began to climb up the corporate scale, up the corporate ladder. I became a project manager, or assistant associate project manager, working for this lady on PS support. She was actually really, really mean to me, her and that team. But I'll be honest with you, she taught me a lot. She also, one of the biggest things she taught me is you can't be smarter than your boss. One of my biggest lessons. So then, we have to sell this technology to a company. So one of the biggest salespeople in the company kind of got wind of me because I sat on the diversity and inclusion board, and I was on the affinity group steering committee. I helped create the very first affinity group. I created my own affinity group, and I consulted for affinity groups. If you don't know what they is, look that shit up. So like I used to be, hustling and bustling. People used to see me. So this guy saw me out. He was one of the biggest. He was like the second or third biggest seller in the company, selling at average about 53 million in a year. So he came to me, which I thought we was cool. I thought we was friends at that point. He came to me and was like, "Yo, I like your work ethic. I like you. Would you work for my team? We need some help." So I ain't know nothing about the sales side of it. We called it the GRO, the general, the God damn, I can't think of it. But GRO, we generated revenue essentially. So I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. So everybody just like, oh man, welcome to GRO, welcome to GRO. Like, I hope you up for this. I hope you up for this. And I was up for the challenge because I kind of molded my life to do things like this. Like I've always been a career girl. So I ain't have no kids. I could hustle and move the way I wanted to. I had been building my career for a really, really long time. So I'm like, okay, sure. Let's do it. So he told me before I came onto the scene, he was like, I got another partner. He gonna work with you, and he's gonna teach you the ropes. So I started working with this dude. So I pretty much know most of the company because I've worked in every other area of the company, but it was like two or three parts of the company that I really didn't know, and sales was one of them. I know how to sell. I had been selling for over 16 years, but I didn't know the specifics of selling in this company and how it went. So the guy was teaching me the technology. And this guy had got out his body, out of his pocket, out of his mind. First off, he used to talk down to me like I was a slave ass, dog ass, hoe ass bitch. And at first I was just kind of letting it slide because, I was like, okay, well maybe, they was like, this is the atmosphere for something like this. This is how people talk. You're going to have to learn how to kind of deal with it. So I was just trying to kind of take it. But it started getting out of hand and out of pocket, so much so that I had started not feeling good enough. Like I wasn't smart. And I was like, I know I'm smart. But this guy would talk to me like I was a fucking idiot. So I kind of tried to make it known that, hey, this is what's going on. And everybody just kind of overlooked it. So then the guy who actually recruited me started treating me really poorly, started talking to me sideways, treating me like I was nothing. Like I was like, oh no, they tripping. Like they wanted me, like they was treating me like they wanted me to be they like live-in slave. Like I did all the grunt work and they went out. And I had no problem with that, but they didn't want me to have no life. This man actually told me, you can't have no life. Like you was gonna have to give up. He like told me I was gonna have to give up the neighborhood. I wouldn't be able to do nothing. I was gonna have to find, like, this nigga was trying to control my fucking life. And I was cool with it for a minute because I'm like, okay, well, this is something that everybody had to go through to get in this position. So long story short, they was hazing me. I know they was hazing me because the man literally told me, this is kind of, if you want to make this amount of money, the amount of money we make, because they made, I'm telling you, no shit, over at least $200,000 to $300,000 a month, and they made that off of commission. I was just contract based, and then if we hit a goal, I made some extra commission. So they told me, they was like, look, if you do well this first year, you can start making commission on $1 for us. And so I went through the first year. When it got time to re-sign my contract, there was and I read over the contract, and it wasn't commission based. So I was like, I'm not signing this because you told me if I did well enough that I would be able to, make commission on $1. They was just like, oh no, you're not good enough. So we're gonna put you on this for another year, and then next year you'll definitely make it. So prior to that, I had tried to go home for Christmas because I always go home for Christmas. That was like, essentially, you can't be off. It was like, you can't never be off. Like, essentially, like, I was there so that they can have fun, and I couldn't. So y'all gonna have to catch the rest of this in next week's episode. Get ready for me for my interview for my new job, bitch.